Are you ready for some smart, plain talk on politics, Israel, and the law? It's the Andrew Parker Show. Let's roll. Welcome to another episode of the Andrew Parker Show. And I'd like to talk today about the state of Israel in the Middle East, which I've talked about, as you know, many times. But what has become blurred by so many confused, ignorant, and downright living a life of anger, people here in the United States, in Western free countries around the world, is a confusion over good and evil. It's almost as if the adage, you know it when you see it, doesn't apply. Because we know evil when we see it, don't we? What occurred on September 11? That was evil. Taking down the Twin Towers, murdering, killing, in one of the most heinous acts of terrorism, certainly in our lifetime, maybe ever. But it can't be said that what happened on October 7th is not in the same ballpark, because it is equivalent, at least on a per capita human death toll basis, to 10 9/11s. And in that case, it was not done by an airplane flying into a building, but rather by hand-to-hand murder and death. October 7th, atrocities arguably are that much worse. And they were Third Reich, Nazi-type killings, torture, murder, death. So you would think most people would consider that evil and would side with the good. Now, some say, Parker, once again, you're all one-sided, it's black and white. Well, in certain situations, it is. And this is one of them. Well, no, Israel isn't pure white, good all the time. No, of course. No one is. No country is. However, there is no comparison here. None whatsoever. The judicial system in the state of Israel is one of the most fair and open and free of any in the world. And if the Israeli Defense Forces or people in the government take action, which is evil or not good, violation of the law, they will be taken to task and be prosecuted and get the results, the consequences. So, mistakes are made and wrongful acts are taken by any country. But they are called to task, at least those democratic countries like the State of Israel, when that occurs. Now, that is not the case with Hamas, terrorist organization. But let's go beyond that. It is not the case with radical Islam. And to be clear, this is an evil branch that I am talking about of Islam. It is a bastardization of Islam. And the Muslim people need to grab a hold of it and destroy it. They must reject it. They must oppose it. And the sad thing is they have not, and it has grown stronger. And it controls many countries around the world. Sadly, it controls many countries around the state of Israel. This evil, this attempt to rebuild a caliphate and to control other people, to require one way and one way only of life. And to engage in such atrocities that they are Nazi-like. They are some of the worst in human history. There can be no doubt that if you lined up all of the terrorist attacks and acts over the last several hundred years, but certainly over the last 100 years, the majority, I would argue the vast majority, were carried out by radical Islamic terrorists, whether Shia or Sunni, both. The single largest death operation against the United States in a single day occurred by radical Islamic terrorists. You remember Munich, 1972, radical Islamic terrorists murdering the entire Israeli Olympic team. You remember Daniel Pearl, the author, had his head sliced off on camera, on video, for one reason: he was a Jew. By ISIS, radical Islamic terrorists. Khobar Towers, I just mentioned, in Lebanon, the single biggest disaster. The Marine barracks, Beirut. Radical Islamic terrorists. And that doesn't even bring it up to more recent times where the number of events across Europe, the bombings of nightclubs, of cafes. It doesn't even talk about the number of Islamic terrorist suicide missions, pay for slay, as they're paying kids, teenagers, to blow themselves up in order to kill Jews. And it's not just Jews, it's many more, but certainly the Jewish population is a target. And many of these radical Islamic terrorist events result because these kids, teenagers, 20-somethings, have been raised from birth, both in school and in the mosque, with teachings that ready them for that moment of death in order to destroy others. That is evil. These imams preach it from the pulpit. It is evil. Now, you hear stories about, oh, no, it's the Jews who are evil. It's the Jews who drink the blood of Muslims, of Christians, who make Passover matzahs with the blood of Muslims and Christians. And it's so outrageous, but it is believed by many. How many of these lies, of these blood libels against Jews are going to continue to be spread and believed on TikTok and otherwise, spread and believed? The idea that October 7th didn't happen. It wasn't as heinous as we know from video, from actual events, from eyewitnesses as well, but from the physical, objective views of it, it was worse than could be described. But it's not believed. Oh, it never happened. And groups are reserving their thoughts on it. It never happened. No, it certainly did happen. Hamas launched and declared war. Hamas killed on that day and thereafter, and is killing people yet today in Gaza. The Palestinians they now are killing, and other clans that are fighting for some semblance of control, they are killing. And to think otherwise is lying. And the way that they do it is they not only say it never happened, but these evildoers will switch the discussion to, no, it's a genocide by Israel. When Israel responds, it's called a genocide. It is a complete, unadulterated lie. The use of force, and here's the key point, the use of force to secure moral convictions. And when I say moral, I am talking about this good versus evil. I am talking about when someone comes with a knife to slice your head off, you can defend yourself. It is not immoral to defend yourself. It is called a just war. And that is what this war was. It was a just war. Now, the moral relativists around the world are going to say, well, you know, it's, I don't know that that's a just war. Any sort of killing is bad. And yes, what October 7th was bad, but the response was bad, and you shouldn't respond with such force. What? You should allow Hamas to rebuild. You should allow them to continue to control and exist because they're not going anywhere, and they had hostages for 2 years. The only way to get them to go is to destroy them. They have proven that time and time again because Israel accepted ceasefires and peace deals over and over and over again. Finally, Hamas agreed, but there's no peace. And they are not agreeing to put down their arms. Nor will they ever. Unconditional surrender is the only way. And that means Western Europe, the United States, and other free countries around the world need to join Israel in Israel's effort to finally, once and for all, remove the evil cancer that controls Gaza. But it also controls other countries in the Middle East. And it is time that the cancer there be destroyed as well. Ultimately, the Muslims must take care of this metastasized cancer within their religion. They must reform. It's been thousands of years and they haven't. but they must now. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Are you a business owner? Are you losing sleep because you feel your partner isn't carrying their weight, or because you no longer share the same vision or values? Are you no longer comfortable going into your own office? Are you walking on eggshells in the company you built? This is Chris Daniels, founding partner of Parker Daniels Keyboard LLC, a premier litigation law firm headquartered in downtown Minneapolis. For more than 30 years, I've specialized in business litigation and have helped hundreds of business owners resolve troubling business disputes. As a former certified public accountant, I get to the heart of the dispute, including financial issues. Business divorce can be messy, time-consuming, and costly, but doing nothing can cost you a lot more. Not just money, but emotionally, physically, and in your personal life. If you and your business partner no longer see eye to eye and you're eager to take a proactive approach and make a change, please call me at 612-355-4100 and schedule a consultation. Or visit our website at www.parkerdk.com.
Looking to reduce your tax liability and grow your portfolio? Consider Texas-based Texacoma Resources. They have been delivering results for over 40 years in energy investments. Investors may benefit with strategic advantages like depreciation, depletion, and drilling, but should consult their tax advisors for their specific situation. Call True North Investment at 612-968-3442 to learn more. That's True North Investment, 612-968-3442. Texacoma Energy that works for you. That doesn't mean they have to jettison their religious beliefs. It means that they must be able to live side by side with those who believe in something other in peace and allow others the freedom to live their life. Christians must do it. Jews must do it. Muslims must as well. They have not to date, and instead they have allowed evil to rise up from within, from amongst them. And it is a just war to get them to the point of understanding we must live together. We must have freedom to believe what we believe. Should not be putting others under your thumb. And by the way, as an aside, to suggest that Israel does that is outrageous. It's a libel. It is false. It is fake. It's not, pox on all your houses. No. It is good versus evil. And we in the United States ought to be able to understand and identify which is which and fully go out and support it. Fully, full-throated. Whether it be to identify it in the Shia community, which is Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah, who at one point had taken over Syria for many, many years, and now is pulled out, and the Sunnis are trying to take control and currently have it. That would be the new president of Syria. But in addition, Turkey trying to apply its strength, and Qatar as well. One is no better than the other when it comes to the radical Islamic terror that they believe in, they support. So it needs to change. It needs to shift. And I dare say that Donald Trump, and by the way, before I leave this point, It relates to the Sunnis and the radical Islamic stripe that runs through Islam. It's the Muslim Brotherhood at the foundation of it all with the Sunnis, and quietly controlling and delivering a blueprint for how to expand. And the approach, by the way, it's, American domestic policy deals with this very problem. And we have failed at it, and that is immigration. Sending around the world to free countries the Muslim Brotherhood, Islamic radical terrorist organization, sending people around the world to get a foothold. And it is happening right now. And it is not crazy Islamophobic talk. It is fact that can be established with ease. And it is not like blood libel against Jews, which are total fake, false fabrications. It is fact. It can be established. So, when we talk about Hamas launched and declared a war, Hamas killed and is killing people today in the most heinous of ways. And then they assert genocide against the Israelis. We must be clear. We must be full-throated. This was a just war by the Israelis, brought to their doorstep by these terrorists, these evildoers. And only unconditional surrender will work with them, as they have proven. Just as in World War II, it's all that would work with Japan and Germany and their ally Italy as well, quite frankly. But Israel has the moral high ground. Israel is, to be blunt, a great country, grounded in moral values and convictions that are consistent with those we have here in the United States, that we should be proud of, that we should stand up and support. We should not be hiding, slinking in the shadows that we are Christians or that we are Jews or that we stand for the Constitution and its principles and the other founding principles of this great country. Principles and values that come out of Judeo-Christian values. And we should not be shy about that. That doesn't mean that we have to put upon anyone else those values, but it means we should defend them. If you don't want to live by them, fine. Just so long as you don't harm others. And that is the repeated violation of the radical Islamic terrorist. Israel is the startup nation. It is a nation in the face of nearly 80 years of war. It's been 80 years of war. Sometimes a quiet war. Sometimes involved over those 80 years has been peace treaties that have held. And now we have the Abraham Accords that are breaking into this war. But they have had to be on high alert, sometimes a little less than others, throughout this entire time. And during this time, Israel has become the startup nation, has become the country per capita with more startup, innovative technology companies than any other in the world, and has created an economy that they can be proud of, second to none in the world. And has done so despite all of the lies about it. It is certainly something worth defending. And we here in the United States, because of this kindred spirit and connection, but also because it is an America First policy to support the state of Israel, a state that provides us with enormous military advantage, enormous strategic advantage, doing things on the battlefield that we could never hope to test in the labs or out in the field here in the United States, such that it sharpens our ability to save American lives. Second to none, Israel provides medical advances to save American lives. Obviously, it's for Israel, but it is shared with us. You may not know, but you should. It's just one small anecdotal example. Congresswoman Giffords in Arizona, when she was shot, she was saved by a bandage that cauterized as it was being applied to her. And that bandage saved her life. Without it, she would have bled to death, is what the doctors say. And that bandage was invented, created in the state of Israel just recently before that event occurred. And it happened that they had those bandages on the scene. It's just one of thousands of examples. Military gear and equipment being fully developed and innovated in the state of Israel, used here in the United States. The vast majority, 75 to 80% of all of the aid provided to the state of Israel is spent back here in the United States. Thousands of jobs created here in the United States. Those jobs filled by Americans. So it is an America First agenda. And those are just a few of the things. In order to, when you are supportive of the U.S.-Israel relationship, it is an America First agenda, for sure. And the foundation of it all is the moral conviction and connection between these two great countries. We should be screaming it, yelling it from the mountaintops, the greatness of the United States, the greatness of the state of Israel. And we will not cower to the hatred and the evil and the heinous acts of the evil that is being pushed daily, sometimes by American citizens, oftentimes by other free countries' citizens in Europe and otherwise and elsewhere, but certainly by our enemies. None of them should be given safe quarter. the Andrew Parker Show, and I thank you once again for joining me. Sometimes I just want to get things off my chest, but I'll tell you, be a champion of the U.S.-Israel relationship. Be proud of it. Be open to it. And demand better from those who support evil. Explain to them the difference. It shouldn't be difficult, sadly it is, between good and evil. And the difference in this context is obvious. Until next time, be kind to your neighbor. For more Smart Plain Talk, go to theandrewparkershow.com. Learn about all of your listening and viewing options. And remember, all the great things are simple, and many can be expressed in a single word: freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, hope. This episode of The Andrew Parker Show is sponsored by Parker Daniels Keyboard and True North Private Investments. Mark Twain once quipped, "A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. When you are lied about and it spreads, the resulting mayhem and destruction can be, and often is, disastrous." Hi, this is Andrew Parker, co-founder of the Parker Daniels Keyboard Law Firm. I recently handled a high-profile defamation lawsuit on behalf of a luxury home real estate agent whose business was decimated by falsehoods spread about him. After nearly 2 years of litigation and 2 weeks of trial, the jury came back with a verdict of more than $2 million for our client. Parker Daniels Keyboard. We litigate cases, we try cases, and we win cases. With a record of excellence in achieving extraordinary results, Parker Daniels Keyboard lawyers have consistently won huge verdicts for its clients in the areas of defamation, civil rights violations, regulatory battles, and intellectual property theft. For wise counsel and winning results, contact us at Parker Daniels Keyboard, premier law firm in downtown Minneapolis. Looking to reduce your tax liability and grow your portfolio? Consider Texas-based Texacoma Resources. They have been delivering results for over 40 years in energy investments. Investors may benefit with strategic advantages like depreciation, depletion, and drilling, but should consult their tax advisors for their specific situation. Call True North Investment at 612-968-3442 to learn more. That's True North Investment, 612-968-3442. Texacoma Energy that works for you.